I have been ghosted by
So have I.
and by numerous people in different forms of relationships,
Okay.
friends, and be it dating or in different setups. And it's not been very pleasant. So today we are talking about
The psychological backdrop of ghosting, because I have experienced ghosting in a professional setup. I don't know if that says something about me.
That's what we're going to tap into today.
Yeah. Precisely. But before we go on to talking about it, let's talk about ghosting a bit.
Yeah, and before we get into that, welcome back
Oh yes.
to the Couch Therapists, another episode, and
Yes.
today's topic is very vulnerable. We're going to be absolutely candid. We want to talk about the psychology behind what's happening,
Yeah.
but also be real about how it has impacted us, even though we are therapists. But
Yeah.
So.
And maybe this is our attempt to find some closure in terms of why people feel the need to ghost and what could be going on in their minds when they do it.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's get things going. I think ghosting in a nutshell, I think most of us know what it is, but like briefly, it is when very unexpectedly, without any warning, without any sign, someone that you have been having an ongoing relationship, could be a friendship, could be a professional relationship, or a romantic one of course, just suddenly disappears from your life without explanation, and despite multiple efforts from your side to communicate, they do not respond back.
Yes, absolutely. And the slight difference between ghosting and cutting somebody off is that ghosting is very passive aggressive in the sense that you would still check on that person in some way, maybe on a different platform, maybe not block them, keep them seeing, or I'm talking about electronic or social media settings, but even in person you would just see that person but not acknowledge in some way.
Exactly.
So ghosting, I feel, comes from a different intention than cutting off.
So let's get into the different intentions of ghosting. But before that, I want to know in what capacity have you experienced it?
Yeah. Okay. So I think I am from the Gen Z category where we date on dating apps sometimes, and also because of the prevalence of availability and dating in that manner, I do think that ghosting has become more common than previous times. So that's the biggest space that I've experienced ghosting in a way. But sadly, I've also experienced it in friendships, which I think did hit a nerve for me, because according to me, I don't know if because of the prevalence of ghosting in dating, it was normalized to a manner, to a level that you would still be like, ऐसा ही होता है.
It becomes the new normal.
Correct. But with friends, I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming. And more than that, I thought the stakes are not too high, where you can't communicate. Or where you can't just, even in a most angry or the most ugliest manner, let the other person know that I don't want you in my life anymore.
Yeah, true. And I think we assume an inherent safety in friendships. I mean we do so in relationships too. But वहाँ पे एक unsaid rule है कि अगर something goes sour, तो वो एकदम से distance हो जाता है. But in friendship we somehow don't anticipate.
We don't anticipate.
And how did you take it when you went through it?
Oh, I think it was very difficult for me, and I also want to say that so the incident where we were talking about friendships before, and we'll give you context as well, but the thing is, it's a very different feeling that even though I sit with it and I try to process it, even I cannot put a finger on it, when it's almost like they don't feel difference.
Responsibility?
No. They don't feel difference if you're there or not.
That's a very painful feeling.
Yeah. And we don't know what to call that feeling yet. But
someone please coin a new term for this.
Yes, please do.
For us.
please do. But a space where they don't want you out of their life because they won't be cutting you off or they won't block you, but they would still not communicate. So that is a very weird space.
Right. And whatever I have experienced ghosting, it has mostly been in a professional capacity. So the feelings around that are slightly different.
Okay.
But with friendships, I do think that most people don't know how to regulate their own feelings. Maybe they are not in touch with what they are experiencing. Or then there are people who definitely want the other person to suffer. There is a degree of passive aggressiveness to it. And therefore they ghost, but they make sure that the person knows that they have received the messages and they have read them.
Yes.
So with friendships, I think these are the two possible contexts behind it.
And with one of the friends who's ghosted me multiple times, but has come back one or the other time.
Okay.
I got into conversation with that person, understanding in a genuine, curious manner that what goes on, what is
Correct.
what happens inside you, because it didn't make sense to me because I have never done that to someone. So I couldn't understand the psychology to be able to empathize. And what that person told me was that they were so busy with life that they thought that I would reach out sometime.
But time never came.
Yeah, and then they got so comfortable with not reaching out because the pressure of explanation and apologizing was a lot.
Yes. I hate to say it, but I have experienced this as on the giver side.
Okay.
Yeah, because when work gets a lot, and especially in our profession where it feels like our time is claimed by people all day. When on top of it someone else reaches out wanting to talk about anything, I have found myself feeling a degree of wariness about it. But that being said, I have made sure that I will reach out to them. So that's a side point. One more thing that came to my mind when you were talking about this was that, maybe there is a group of people who feel the discomfort around and that pressure. I think there are also a bunch of people for whom it becomes so normalized, so comfortable to not respond, that वो realize भी नहीं होता होगा that अरे maybe this person is waiting for my reply. And I owe it. I have a degree of responsibility to reach out.
Absolutely. And if not be available, at least communicate the non-availability. I think that is respectful.
True. So segueing into the professional experiences. So I have very shockingly experienced ghosting from other therapists also.
What do you say?
Yes.
For what though?
I'll tell you. Okay. So the one kind I've experienced is of course from clients, prospective people who have approached me for therapy, and something doesn't sit right with them. So despite multiple follow-ups, they never take the effort to communicate to me that no, we are not interested in starting therapy. And my feelings around that are usually regarding a sense of frustration, not even hurt but frustration ki I am not going to force you to start sessions with me, then just close that loop for me so that I know in my mind that I don't have to take follow-ups.
I think that's fair. But I also want to mention how there are so many quacks in the industry that clients have not had, or people in general have not had great experiences, and I've been one of them when I was a child reaching out to a therapist. So I feel while this is our thought process and it's extremely fair to expect that, but at the same time thinking from a client perspective,
point of view,
maybe they've had worst experiences of somebody forcing them.
That's very true.
Or
someone shaming them for not taking therapy. That's possible. And on a side note, now that I talk about it, I also feel that maybe their own feelings get so huge that they really do feel debilitated to revert back.
For sure.
So this segment I can at least understand and make peace with it. Getting hosted by therapists. So my organization conducts, that we conduct a lot of trainings, a lot of outreach programs for therapists, and every day I get at least 5 to 10 inquiries about the support group or whatever. And after I send the synopsis and I share the details, 80% of the people never respond back despite multiple follow-ups. for one of them, on one particular day, I'm not very proud of it, but on a particular day, I had really sternly messaged 2 or 3 of them, saying that being a mental health professional, this was very disappointing for me to receive from them. That despite multiple follow-ups, they did not feel the need to at least let me know that they are not interested in joining.
Yeah.
To which one therapist responded so aggressively, telling me that she doesn't owe me a damn thing, and that she never wants to hear from me again, and that I should have a little bit more patience.
Oh my god.
And I mean, like I say that I had not crossed any line or any boundary or anything like that, but it seems like for people, even getting called out on it is something that they can't deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. And but once again, even though we can give people benefit of doubt, we can give we can think
Psychoanalyze
of
it how we want.
and we can empathize that they might have had a similar situation of not being able to respond to 100 messages on their WhatsApp. But at the same time, it is unfair to just not inform at the end of the day.
Yeah. So we covered some psychological reasonings behind ghosting. So I think the topmost one is that it is so much more easier to get someone off your radar in a social media world, because it would be a lot harder to ignore a person right in front of you who is trying to talk to you than it is to ignore a person who is texting you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a thumb of rule, I have started consciously to call people instead of text.
That's actually a good idea.
I became a person in college who would cut calls just to text. Because I got very comfortable with text. I think, and there was this research that I read that said that text only communicates 8% of what you truly want to communicate.
True.
And I did feel a very strong blanket of safety with text, because then sometimes your emotions would be overwhelming for somebody else.
Okay.
So texting became very safe because you could always change the tone by changing the words, or even if you're aggressive, you could just put a smiley and that could be okay. But then I saw how much that's lack of confrontation, and it's a spiral. You can't then you literally have to pull yourself out of it.
True.
So I made it a conscious choice that now instead of texting, either worst come worst, I'll at least send voice notes if not texting.
That is something I have started doing also. When I am just too spent to write a type of message, audio notes work. But yes, let's not deviate. I think I want to definitely talk a little bit more about how do you handle it when you get ghosted, I mean, like I said, we can sit here on this couch for another 30 minutes trying to figure out why people do it. There will be a number of reasons. If you can think of some, do let us know.
Put down in the comments.
But how do you cope with being ghosted?
Wow, I think the biggest way for me was to see how I see it. And I realized that it has a lot to do with somebody's emotional capacity rather than my worth.
Yes.
And that's easier said than done, I'll be honest. It's so much easier said than done. But the day I realized that there's a pattern with people I love or have been kind to me versus people I don't have a very close connection to, I realized how strongly this A group of whom I have a close connection to or have been kind to me in some way, I have attached my worth with them. So them leaving in the worst manner by ghosting would mean that I'm not worth it.
And that's exactly the sentiment that also came up for me when I said that am I doing something wrong that many professionals are not feeling the courtesy to reply back. So that's, I think, just a very human tendency to personalize everything that happens, especially negative things, and take it and attach it to your worth. I honestly feel like 99% of human emotional concerns would be so easily solved
Yeah.
or mitigated
Yeah.
if we all were able to keep our self-worth in a vacuum, like a box.
Oh God, yeah.
Only we can choose what goes in, what doesn't, and then everything else just stays out. We can be hurt, but it may not come down to our self-worth.
Yeah.
We could be very, very angry with someone, but we may still keep it separate from their worth
Yeah.
as an individual.
Yeah, I would love to show you my journal someday. I literally wrote it 10 times
Huh.
that your feelings are valid even if they're not factually true.
Yeah.
I felt like I am not worth it. My world has come crashing down to lose
Aww.
like people in your close
Yeah.
circle suddenly.
Yeah.
And I was so hurt. But at the same time, to remember, like you said, to isolate it
Yeah.
is so important. So I had to write down
Yes.
that your feelings are still valid. even
Rewire it again
Yeah,
and again.
yeah.
And again. Yeah.
And I know it might sound a little lame when you just hear it, but it worked for me. It did work. Just that
Yeah.
writing down the and with a very like I was sobbing and writing it down, but it did work.
Yeah, so that's definitely one way to go about it. I think the second way is also to radically accept it, saying that it is what it is. That's how sometimes people behave. There might be a lot going on behind the scenes that I may
Yeah.
not know of.
Yeah.
And lastly, again, yeah, my mind just keeps going back to it is what it is. I can't make demands about how people should or shouldn't respond to me.
Yeah.
But I do make it a point to at least take follow up twice or thrice so that
Oh,
at
yeah,
least
yeah.
सामने वाले इंसान को थोड़ा तो लगे कि अरे ये इतना वक्त निकाल के follow up ले रही है.
Yeah.
So maybe I should at least let them know that I'm interested or I'm not interested.
Yeah, for sure. I take a little more emotional stance
Huh.
to go.
Yeah.
I would follow up
Yeah.
one more time than the usual norm. Like
Yeah.
if my value system says that take follow-ups only thrice, I would do it 4 times so that I know that I've gone a little beyond.
Yeah, literally everything that you
Yeah,
can.
like literally I count it. So if my brain says the usual or pushing beyond is 3, I would do 4, and then that would give me a sense of relief in some
Yeah.
way, a closure that we wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah.
And then I would also write letters. So maybe as a not to send it to them.
Yeah, of course.
But
for
it's a
yourself.
technique also in therapy. So
Yeah.
maybe
Unfinished business.
yeah, you do it alone that at your own risk, that's okay, but always it's better to have a therapist
Yeah.
to do such intense activities or interventions. And then
And I think these activities you're meaning more in terms of really close people that have ghosted.
yeah, very close, very
This may not
close.
be very applicable for your colleagues or acquaintances
no,
that you have hardly built any kind of rapport with. So yeah, I think I had one more point in my mind that has gone away
Oh,
now.
no. But I don't feel emotions, or rather let me reword it. I don't feel the attachment to words with the group B. People
Yeah.
are in group B.
Yes.
So it's a different space. Even though they ghost, it doesn't occur.
Yes. For me now it has become something like an expectancy that if 10 people inquire about something, 6 of them are going to ghost. And कहीं ना कहीं ये भी बोल के आसानी होती है that you are never going to be the center of everyone's universe.
Oh yeah.
For many of them कहीं ना कहीं वो randomly message किया होता है, देख लेते हैं, and वो it just goes off your radar. So for me it's more important if I am not doing that to anyone else.
Oh yeah.
क्योंकि वो मेरे हाथ में है.
Correct.
And secondly, the people who are really close to me, I don't let them walk away scot free. At least I make them explain कि क्या हुआ. Walk me through the process.
But that's exactly ghosting, no? Like there is no space for you to have that conversation.
Yeah, हाँ, मतलब बराबर कि वो अगर गए ही हैं तो फिर
Yeah.
true.
But this brought me to another question. Have you ghosted anybody?
Only someone who has ghosted me once. Like I remember that last year there was this person who reached out for therapy. I've never ghosted a friend or a romantic partner.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay.
But last year, a prospective client contacted, booked a session, transferred the fees for the first session, and never showed up. After that, I took 4 or 5 follow-ups with him, and I checked with him in terms of, is everything okay? Like, my first stance is, I hope that no emergency has come up for you. And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on. But basically, you get this, 1 saal ho gaya, and just last month this guy messages me asking me, Ishwari, are those fees still applicable? Can I still book a session with you? I did not respond to him. I did not.
I was hoping that he would
At least apologize.
or forget apologizing, or just say that I would like to have a session,
Yeah.
but not ask for the fee.
He was like, is it still applicable? I would like to book a session.
Oh no. Oh no.
And 2 other funny instances. One of them I was very, very hurt about. I hope that we are not going over time, but whatever. Yeah, it was one of my clients that I had worked with for 3 years, who just ghosted randomly.
Oh my god.
Nothing.
That must have been so.
I repeated the last session I had with him at least thrice in my mind, combing over every fine detail of that communication, trying to
Yeah.
search if I violated any boundary, if I said something that was not good, if he indicated even in the slightest that he is not keen on continuing therapy. But he never responded back. And then the second experience is a therapist who was a part of my support group, who gave me rave reviews on my face that this is an amazing space to be in and I'm learning a lot. And she blocked me after her money was up, after the payment was completely utilized. She blocked me. And I never knew why till the end. So all this personal disclosure only happening to tell you that ghosting is getting very common.
Yeah,
The
and it's
best-
very hurtful. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the best that you can do is to take care that you don't do it to someone to the best of your capacities. And if you do get ghosted by someone, just remember that it has got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Unless of course you have done something that has been
Oh,
very
God.
hurtful, then that's a completely different
Conversation.
Yeah, completely different context.
And disclaimer, we are not talking about extreme situations,
Oh, yes.
abuse,
Yeah.
or any form of abuse, or any instance that would
Boundary crossing.
require cutting off or ghosting in some manner. We're not talking about that.
Yes.
We're talking about close bonds or professional bonds and a capacity that has not been, that we couldn't see coming. I have also been ghosted by helpers, like maids and
What?
yeah. So I've lived alone for 5 years, and trust me, I'm not like a crazy bachelor with a crazy house. I have a very, very clean house and unmessy situations.
Oh,
but I've been ghosted. This can go on and on and on.
Yes. So I don't think it was mostly a rant session today more than a podcast episode. So I hope you had some chuckles along the way. You have found some answers as to why people ghost,
Yeah.
and some tools that you can use. But yeah, so for right now, we will not ghost you. We will be back for the next podcast episode. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.